Thermal socks might be on offer as well, Dan, for you. Good morning. After a haircut and an alfresco pint, one of the things people are looking forward to is a bit of old-fashioned retail therapy. Come Monday, across England, those non-essential shutters will be opening up. Will it be different? Well, we're now used to face masks, hand sanitizer, social distancing and one-way systems. One small change from last time is that fitting rooms will be open. But if you'd like to confer with a pal on new purchases, I'm afraid that's only allowed if they're in your bubble. Some good news, though, if, like me, you've been wedging the kids' feet into old shoes, John Lewis are one of the shops resuming kids' feet measurements. And this is an important detail as well. To try and stagger visits, retailers are allowed to open until 10 p.m. on Monday to Saturday. And Primark is one of the retailers who've confirmed they'll be doing just that. So it's fine for big names, but less easy for small independent shops. They've got to be really careful how they allocate staff and resources. Let's speak to two people who work in retail. Monika runs a small department store in Shropshire. It's been in the family since 1860. No pressure there, Monika. And this is Ross, who rents out space to small retailers wanting to test out their store ideas. He wants the government to back a shop out to help out scheme similar to the one with food last summer. A good morning to both of you. Monika, we'll start with you. We've been talking about for a long time about concern about the future of the high street, but is it true that you've had customers literally banging on the windows wanting you to open?
Yeah, definitely. Being a small market town is quite lively here. We've got butchers just around the corner and bakeries. So during the lockdown, people were still queuing for their essentials. We know so many customers personally, and when they see us getting the shop ready, they knock on the door, on the windows and say hello. When you're going to open, we're so excited to be back. We'll come and visit you straight away.
So that's a big part of community activity in Ludlow, isn't it? But for you, it's completely different, isn't it, Ross? These are new businesses that will be jumping up sporadically in different parts of the country, making the most of that empty space. What sort of businesses are you seeing want to thrive at the moment?
Well,
sorry, Ross, go on.
I was just going to say, I think to give a bit of context about the campaign and before we set it up is appear here before this period, we were launching tens of thousands of stores across the country, and we were actually launching more shops than what we were seeing closing. And I think that's a counter narrative to what we often see in the press, which is the high street's dying. And actually, you're seeing these incredible independent stores, small new businesses that have truly been thriving before COVID. And we want to make sure that they continue to thrive after this, because they would have done incredibly well had this pandemic not have happened.
And in some ways, Ross, is there space for new opportunity at the moment?
There's huge space for new opportunity. You know, real estate is going to be cheaper than it's ever been. I think as people and as customers, we've all realized the importance of our local community. You're seeing up and down the country queues outside the local butcher shop, the local fishmongers, as I think more than ever we care about where things are from and the people behind them.
That's interesting, isn't it, Monika? That return we've seen from consumers to the small high street rather than going into the city, for example. And that's something that you'll be able to maximise on. But when we're seeing later opening times, for example, for John Lewis, for Primark, they've got that economy of scale. Will you be making the most of opening up later?
We always work with our customers and we always ask them what they want. We send out surveys and we listen. And after the first lockdown, we gave people option to book individual appointments or small groups appointments. So probably that would be a way forward for us rather than just extend the hours, opening hours. Being small also has its advantages. We can be agile and work with tomorrow. We can decide to open till 10 today. You know, we can decide to shut at 5 o'clock like we always do. So being small sometimes does have massive advantages.
And a final question for you, Ross. We've seen a move to online shopping. Some people for the very first time over the past year. Is there a concern that that will stick and these pop-ups that you're talking about won't necessarily have a future?
Look, I think that this is about all types of stores and especially small family businesses. And we've got to make sure they survive this period. And look, I think that we've actually all realized by being at home and being on Zoom calls all day, just how much we miss human connection. So look, I think in the long run, I believe that people are going to go back to streets. They're going to want to have that human connection. They're going to want to go to those stores that they care so much about. But I also feel that we need government to support these stores in the short run. You know, these are businesses that have been shut for up to 80% of last year, who are small family-run businesses often, and need to make sure that they see this period through. And I think that, to me, the concern isn't whether people will shop online forever. It's more that in the next quarter or so, in the next 2 or 3 months, how do we ensure that people go back onto the high street and start spending in their local stores, and that we see these small retailers get the same support as big businesses? You know, the technology industry that has thrived through COVID got hundreds of millions of pounds of funding from this government for things like match funding. And these small businesses, often many of them can't furlough themselves. They've not had that support. We want to see them get the same belief from government.
Ross,
and
many thanks. And the best of luck to you and to you on Monday, Monika. I'm sure there'll be a lot of pent-up spend outside your shop in Ludlow. And as they were both saying, Dan and Louise, it'll be